Hey yo, lurkers. Lurkers hide in the shadows of jealousy, envy, and theft of expression, clutching the pearls as the infamous provokes confession. These miserable parasites can't turn away. They are cowards that consume with nothing to say. Am I who they wanna be? Why they hate that is me, and not them that is being me. Why subscribe? Why follow me? You've been here all this time hiding in that corner. Roaches, rats, monitoring spirits and bats. Lurkers, you all the same. First off, Black Moon Lilith will be transiting Sagittarius for 9 months. So we want to take this into consideration with the new moon phase Sagittarius, which comes to its completion in 6 months. Understand that. And this has to do with how we reconcile between shame and expansiveness in our life. Shame makes you want to shrink. It makes you feel like you don't deserve to, or are not authorized, or it's not appropriate for you to take up the space that you really need to take up. Spread your legs, lift your voice, do a little stomping, shake the earth a little bit. And we're learning to take up space. We're learning to make noise. And we're learning to be okay with that. Not shrinking, walking on eggshells, going over and beyond not to offend somebody, not to make somebody uncomfortable, to consider the feelings of other people. Yes, these things are nice, these things are good, but not if it means selling your soul in the way you're going about doing it. We have to get comfortable with making noise and taking up space. And in particular, your Sagittarius placement, your 9th house, you gotta show presence. You gotta make noise. Take up space and make noise. Understand that. This is not the time to be shrinking. Don't start that shit. All that shrinking shit.
My bad, I didn't mean to. Excuse me, I was just reaching for the hot sauce. I'm sorry. Excuse me, did I bump into you? I'm sorry.
No, fuck all that. Take up space. You are going to be tempted during this cycle to hide yourself. You're going to be tempted to pull back your shadows into the dark, to backtrack, to backstep, to backslide. You are. It's not what you are to do. Fucking deal with it. Deal with the shaming tactics. Shame is a powerful technology to control. When you allow somebody to shame you into specific behaviors, when you allow somebody to shame you into a certain thought process, you are lending total control over your identity, your beliefs. Because you don't want to be shamed, you don't want to be embarrassed, humiliated, or rejected. You better get over it. I'm telling you now, get over it. Gangstar, who's one of my favorite rappers, I put it on my channel as a post. I want you to go there, write it down in your notes so you can't forget. But Gangstar, in 1992, he released a song called No Shame in My Game. And Gangstar, it's well known that he was raised as a Muslim, okay? Which doesn't mean that he's Muslim, but he was raised as a Muslim. And I know what that means because as New Yorkers, especially out of Brooklyn, okay, which he is, Islam was a common and familiar religion and culture across many schools of thought in New York City, okay? Black Americans in New York City relate very well to Islam. The 5% nation, the nation of Islam. Sunni, Salafi, Madhab. Islam is very close to the streets as well. It's very close to the streets. Understand that. And because of his cultural association and mannerisms, as he was raised up with what we call knowledge of self, okay, which he got knowledge of self from the 5% nation of gods and earths and the nation of Islam. People thought that they were going to box him in to certain expectations and shame him when they saw him out hanging with his homeboys, drinking a 40, chilling on the street corners. All right? In New York City, Brooklyn, it's a world that if you're not from there, you don't understand. Okay? But whatever you do there, you're going to do it gritty. You're going to be gritty. There's you can't survive there if you're not gritty. So this has nothing to do with, drinking alcohol. But what I'm saying is there's no goody two-shoes in New York City. All right? There's no goody two-shoes. Righteousness is what they tried to coin him with because of his Islamic associations. So they thought that they could character assassinate him by pointing out the fact that, oh, I saw you drinking a beer. You ain't no Muslim. You not righteous. Yeah, whatever. You a hypocrite. Yeah, all that stuff you be talking about in your rap music. Yeah. So Gangstar went on, to put himself on the record that, first of all, I never claimed to be Muslim. I clarified that I was raised by Muslims. And number two, he clarified in the song that righteousness is not to be a goody two-shoe. Righteousness is to be authentic. That's righteousness. He clarified that being righteous is being authentic. That's what it means. You know what I mean? If you got a shorty that's walking around here, okay, with, like in these modern times, practicing prostitution, but you fronting like that's not what you're doing, it's shame on you because you're lying. Now, if you put everybody on notice that you're a prostitute and that's what you're doing, how can there be shame on you because you're being authentic? You're being who you say you are. So how can somebody shame you for being a prostitute and you acknowledge and admit the fact that you're being the prostitute? Whatever you are, whatever you do. You can't shame somebody that accepts who they are. You can't shame somebody that shows up authentic. You can't shame a person who is real. You can't shame somebody that stands in an authentic embodiment of themselves. You can't shame them. It only works on people that fail to show up authentic. And he beautifully illustrates that in his song. So I want you to check out Gangstar. It's called No Shame in My Game by Gangstar. Okay? Gangstar. Check that out before, when you get a chance. But anyway, you have to disarm the shame by leaning into your authenticity, which is not to be perfect, not to be a goody two-shoe. And it's not to live for the approval of others. It's to simply be authentic. Let's get that right. Don't let somebody shame you into a particular behavior and philosophy. If they can use a bunch of insults and shame and laughing emojis, they can control the average person. That's how American women operate, if you think about it. I know people don't like the shit that I'm saying, but I damn sure don't give a fuck. The modern American woman has taken on that tactic of shaming and insulting as her desperate means of controlling narratives, behaviors, and reactions around her own contradictions in her own image and character. Shaming tactics. It's a very, let me use careful words here. It's part of the cancel culture regime. If you good at jonesing on somebody, talking shit, making other people laugh at somebody, getting other people to laugh at others, making a joke out of a person, you are more likely to have control over that person's behavior and perception of themselves. The black community is infamous for that. I'm telling you all that shit right now. We have a serious problem with that in the Asiatic community. Serious problem with that. The shaming, the insults, the Joneses. Growing up is like a rites of passage. You have to have thick skin if you're black in America. Because, they gonna get on your ass. We walk with Black Moon Lilith like we was born with it. And you have to learn how to disarm shame. And you disarm shame through humility of self-acceptance. It can't faze you. I'm me. And there's nothing else and no one else that I'm trying to be. So whatever you point at, if I'm being authentic, how can you shame me? If you let that work, you're going to find that you're being somebody that you're not because you're trying to avoid that confrontation. You're trying to avoid those experiences. You better come up with something. You better figure it out. But you can't let people shame you out of being who you really are. I'm 42. And I've seen so many brilliant young black men turn to the streets because they were shamed into the streets. Splurge money on stupid shit because they were shamed into doing it. And what I mean by that is, young men live for the attention of the girls that they can have access to. And when you show up with your authentic desires in life to be a good person, to read books. Maybe you like animals, maybe you like science, maybe you like, certain kind of sports other than basketball. Maybe you like some kind of music other than rap. You're being your authentic self. This wasn't allowed when you're black, because black girls always shame you for being something other than a street nigga, something other than a thug. They shame you for that, for dressing in anything less than expensive clothes, expensive shoes, superficiality. They shame you for that. And if you fall for it, you end up becoming somebody or something that you're not. And we think these things are innocent, but it shapes the landscape of our culture. And then we don't want to take no responsibility for the part that we play in it. In the households, our siblings do this. They'll shame you for things that you like or dislike, ways that you are, the way that you talk, the way that you walk, your hairline, your nose, your ears, your eyes, the way you sing, or whatever it is. Early on, somebody could have shamed you for ways that you express yourself. But when it comes to Sagittarius, 9th house, it has to do with beliefs that you have. The expression of your beliefs, the expression of your convictions, what you believe in, being shamed about your opinions on things. What opinions have you had that somebody shamed you out of having? What was your opinion and somebody shamed the hell out of you just because you had the fucking opinion? So now you suppressed it, you change your mind, and you pretend like it's not what you believe in. It's not what you think. It's not what you concluded. You're going to have to recover and preserve your opinions. Not being dogmatic and fixed in your opinions, leaving room for growth and enlightenment, correction even, but nonetheless you have opinions and you express them freely. Being opinionated freely. It doesn't mean you won't be corrected. It doesn't mean that everything that you say is true, factual, right. But nonetheless, you should freely express your opinions. Do you feel like you can do that in the environments that you come from? In the social circles that you've had? Without being canceled for it? The shaming tactics is no different in cancel culture. Hey yo, who do you cry for? Who do you get angry for? If you're not set on fire for others, then you are spiritually poor, nigga. Love can accomplish all things. Yeah, that's a fact. But not if you're trying to make it to serve yourself. That's a fact. What do you feel when you witness others being done wrong? Just another sad song? What? May you suffer their plight until compassion awakens in you. Will I allow fear to suppress my creativity? Will I allow doubt to restrict my access to expansion, to positivity? The future is unpredictable. Who would I be to authorize fear to cast predictions? I am as I think I am. Conviction. My Sagittarius fire spreads, and I don't give a fuck if it's dark. I'm drawing back, letting off, shooting darts. I am my ideal. And what I conceptualize is indeed real. My rich childlike imagination is a heavenly presentation of every reality that's authorized to be through me. Can't nobody tell me shit. I create at will. If I say it will be, then it will be. Dream big. Dream fucking big. Dream so big, the vision, the picture, the dream that you got of yourself, that shit should scare the fuck out of you because of how big you dream. Dream big. Aim real fucking high. Draw back your arch, your bow and arrow. Draw it back and shoot that motherfucker high in the fucking sky. Dream big. Dream big. Regardless of the square, where Saturn's threatening you and want to make you cry. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I got this problem. Oh, I'm gonna. Stop fucking crying. Stop it. Still dream big. We have to learn to remain in a spirit of optimism and creativity regardless of the threats that are on the hill. Regardless of what monster you think is around the corner. Regardless of what fear is provoking us. We have to insist on optimism and creativity at all times. Because nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to do it. You have to believe in you. We can't bow to the threat. We can't bow to the doubt. Believe no threat. Expose the lie. Expose the fear. Overpower the threat with optimism. Overpower it. Use your voice to speak yourself into conviction. Use your thoughts. Use everything in your environment, everything around you. And distance yourself from naysayers. Distance yourself from people who say you can't. From people who say you're not. Distance from yourself from people who crush and destroy your dreams. Who always have something fucking negative to say. Be careful who you share your dreams with. You gotta be able to see it. Rich, vivid, colorful imagination. What do you see? Who do you see you are? What reality are you supposed to be in? What's the big picture of it? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Who's there? Who's not there? What colors do you see? Get descriptive with yourself. See it. Are you out of place? Are you somewhere where you know you're not supposed to be? Are you doing something that you know is limiting to you, stifling your growth, stifling your expression of yourself? Are you somewhere or in some situation where you do not feel like you are living, where you don't feel alive, where you feel constrained, dead, and fucking lifeless? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it besides fucking jacking off about it? What are you gonna do about it? Cry me a fucking river. Cry me a fucking river. What are you going to do about it? Tell me that you see a big picture for yourself. Where the fuck are you supposed to go? What are you supposed to do? You know. Your imagination is everything. And your philosophy. Don't let nobody hijack it. Where's the meaning at in your life? Are you connected to a meaningful life? Does it mean shit to you? You don't. A meaningful life is not to go to just blend into the seat of cars early in the morning headed to work. Clock in, clock out, come home, do the same shit again. Who are you impacting? Whose life are you changing? Who are you reaching and really touching out there? What are you changing? What are you improving? What are you making better? Who and what are you healing? What are you correcting? What are you here to expand? What are you here to make more efficient? In what ways do you recognize that you could be a savior, a protector, a guardian, an advocate, a healer, a guide, a teacher, a mentor, a leader, a good follower? Where's your purpose in your life? Where does your life really mean something? What in your life shows you that you really are living for a reason, that you really do have a purpose, that you need to be here in this lifetime? Where are you justifying your existence? Are you making an impact in this life? If not, why the fuck aren't you? Why are you not impactful in this life? Who can say that person has really impacted me in my life? Listen, man. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, frequently remember death. Okay, frequently remember death. And I think it's healthy to think of yourself from the grave. I'm serious. Who's going to be there at your fucking funeral? Who are the people that's going to be there at your funeral? And what are they going to say about you? What is the obituary going to say? Well, excuse me, the eulogy card. What's the eulogy card going to say about you? Oh, he's a really good guy. He's a really good worker. Yeah, he made really good hamburgers, or, the fuck? What's going to be said about you when you fucking die? Really though. Did you impact people? Did you change lives? That's what the fuck you came here to do. Why aren't you doing it? How long have you walked on this earth without being impactful? You don't think something wrong with that? That you just hear bullshitting? You're supposed to live in a way that makes your death sweet. You have to live in a way that makes that prepares you for death. I can say with all conviction that I feel fully prepared for death. Fully prepared for it. Because I know what I sent forward for my death. I know what I sent forward. I know what I intentionally strive to leave as impact in this earth, in this world, in this realm. I know that I have been intentional about making that impact with every person that I could reach. So my death, I expect to be sweet. I don't mind death. I don't mind it. Because I'm prepared for it. Can you say that? Can you really say that? What makes your life meaningful? Not just for your selfish ass. You selfish motherfucker. Why is everything about you? Why is your life not about the effect that you have on the world, on society, on the people, on your family, on your community? Where's your purpose? Your purpose is not your fucking self. Your purpose is others. What's your purpose? In what way do we receive what you came here to give? According to Aquarius Pluto transit, it's not about you no more. It's about us. That's what it's about now. It's not about you. And we're going to drive this lesson home in the next North and South Node transit of Leo and Aquarius. Believe that. That's going to be understood. It ain't about you. And what this includes is the big picture that you're forming that needs to be understood. Because if you start now pretending like you don't know that, acting as if you don't understand that, you're going to be the one who has the hard time with South Node Leo. When you find out it ain't all about you. And this includes your Venus experiences about yourself. Relationships, finances, comfortability in life. Your relationships are no longer about you. If you choose a woman, you better choose a woman that helps you to serve us more efficiently. If you choose a man, you better choose a man that helps you to serve us more efficiently. Otherwise, you're a violation because you're a selfish motherfucker. It ain't about your ass no goddamn more. Get over yourself. You like that guy? Okay. How can he help you to serve us in a more efficient and effective way? You like that girl? How can she help you to serve us? Your relationship belongs to us, the people. It ain't yours. Your resources, your finances, it's not for your selfish indulgence, your selfish comforts, as you conveniently ignore the tragedies of humanity, the crisis of humanity, the ups and downs and drama and experiences of humanity. It's for you to find solutions in the world that you have the capacity to affect. Otherwise, your money is not blessed. Your resources are not blessed. And you will find out that that's the case. So when you form your big picture, your nice idea, it better include this understanding that it ain't fucking about you. What the fuck did you come here to do as a service? That's what it's about, not you. Get over yourself. Will I allow fear to suppress my creativity? Will I allow doubt to restrict my access to expansion, to positivity? The future is unpredictable. Who would I be to authorize fear to cast predictions? I am as I think I am. Conviction. My Sagittarius fire spreads, and I don't give a fuck if it's dark. I'm drawing back, letting off, shooting darts. I am my ideal. And what I conceptualize is indeed real. My rich childlike imagination is a heavenly presentation of every reality that's authorized to be through me. Can't nobody tell me shit. I create at will. If I say it will be, then it will be. Whatever it is that you're visualizing, you should be able to clarify what the mission is. That's consistent with the vision. And the mission is we. We. For us. The people. Whatever your plan, your idea, your intention, we're not repeating what causes humanity to fail. What causes us to be exposed to greater harm. And that is when every individual is so selfish, so arrogant, to turn their nose up and turn their eyes away at the suffering of other people, especially when you have any kind of privilege, opportunity, or resource that could possibly make a difference, including your voice. Including your voice. There are many who would say, oh, I don't like what's going on in America. Oh, I'm ready to move to another country. I hear you. I'm with you in that conviction. However, I think there's things for us to think about. When things were going right for you, when food stamps wouldn't get cut off, Section 8 and all this other stuff, when groceries weren't affecting your refrigerator, when you wasn't part of that wave that got laid off, when the storm couldn't touch you, when the storm didn't touch you, how many times did you cry for the ones that the storm did touch? How many times did you cry for those who were being affected when you weren't being affected? How many times? See, that's the mentality that don't need to spread no fucking where. It don't need to go to China. It don't need to go to Australia. It don't need to go to fucking England. It don't need to go anywhere, but it needs to go in front of a fucking mirror for you to fix and examine and face up to. That you was a piece of shit that don't care about nobody else as long as you not suffering. Even if it means that the only thing that you got to contribute is a fucking opinion. Even that helps. Lift your opinion up and let it be heard that this ain't right, this is wrong, it's fucked up what they doing to those people. I pray for them. My heart goes out to them. Look where they go. Selfish motherfuckers out here who love that there's the option to turn the TV off, close the shades, turn their head, close their eyes, pretend like they didn't hear, they didn't see. Motherfuckers who don't lift their voice, who don't go in their wallet, who don't go in their refrigerator, who don't go in their closet to spread love. You piece of shit. Especially from a privileged position. Especially. It's a sign that we're void of compassion. And when we walk the earth void of compassion, karma is looking for your motherfucking ass to make sure that you learn compassion. And how do we learn compassion? You got to go through some fucked up shit to learn compassion. You may have to suffer the very things that you refuse to observe in others because it inconveniences you. It inconveniences you to hear the crying, to see the pain, to see the destitution, to see all the oppression and injustice happen to other people, and you ain't got shit to say about it. There's nothing you want to do about it. It's not enough people that want to do something. All of the emotional energy that's supposed to be channeled and making a difference, it's spewed out into watching sports. It's spewed out into tuning in to the Diddy trial instead of focusing on the Epstein trial and what we could channel as a collective to get consequences and results concerning that. Instead of channeling our emotion to revolutionize our circumstance as a collective and to hold hands together around the oppressed. Instead, we waste that energy into football, basketball, and boxing. Luxury, convenience, options, abundance. Oh boy, have we enjoyed it. We can't get back to our humanity until we lose these things. We can't get back to compassion until we lose these things because we have to get sober. We've been desensitized. But I guarantee you will feel your neighbor's pain. You will feel your brother's pain. You will feel your sister's pain after you have suffered a little while. You will. After you have suffered a little while, you ungrateful piece of shit. Hey yo, who do you cry for? Who do you get angry for? If you're not set on fire for others, then you are spiritually poor, nigga. Love can accomplish all things. Yeah, that's a fact. But not if you're trying to make it to serve yourself. That's a fact. What do you feel when you witness others being done wrong? Just another sad song? Word? May you suffer their plight until compassion awakens in you. I don't have the humanity that I should have if I never cry for somebody else. I don't have the humanity that I have if I don't get angry on someone else's behalf. If you don't cry, if I don't cry for others, if you don't get angry and I don't get angry for others, we've lost our humanity. Understand that. How often do you cry for others? How often do you get angry for others? How often? We're not whole until that's the case. We haven't arrived until that's the case. We have not become one with matriarchal source, if that's the case. We are not qualified until that's the case. Until I can cry for you and until I can get angry for you. I cannot stand in the image and likeness of God. I cannot. Who do you cry for? Who do you get angry for? Who should you cry for? Who should you get angry for? Or do you enjoy too much convenience to think about that? Will I allow fear to suppress my creativity? Will I allow doubt to restrict my access to expansion, to positivity? The future is unpredictable. Who would I be to authorize fear to cast predictions? I am as I think I am. Conviction. My Sagittarius fire spreads, and I don't give a fuck if it's dark. I'm drawing back, letting off, shooting darts. I am my ideal. And what I conceptualize is indeed real. My rich childlike imagination is a heavenly presentation of every reality that's authorized to be through me. Can't nobody tell me shit. I create at will. If I say it will be, then it will be. Alright, Sagittarius new moon. It's on the 19th of December. This is what we all should hope for at this time. It's a great opportunity. Great opportunity. What is it to point out about the new moon, 28 degrees, Sagittarius? First of all, there's the square that we all are dealing with as the entire stellium. It has to pass through this square with Saturn, the checkpoint. And this checkpoint is Saturn has to ice grill every one of these niggas as they walk into Capricorn. So as you go into Capricorn, Saturn is disillusioning these impulses. Saturn is also grounding these impulses, sobering these impulses. And it's the appropriate checkpoint before they are subjected to the jurisdiction of Capricorn. Essentially what this is if you have, say, a big blanket, okay? You spread the blanket out. Say you got your little kids and nephews and nieces, they all want to have a little sleepover. And with little kids, sometimes you got so many kids in the crib, you want to lay a little pallet on the floor for them to sleep on and, have fun, eat their snacks and, play video games, do all that stuff. So you're making a pallet for the little ones. And you spread it out. You spread out the blanket. Okay? This is the Sagittarius effect. You're spreading out your ideas. You're spreading out your concept of yourself. You're letting it breathe. All right? You're also spreading out your vision to see the big picture that your courage can muster. Bigger picture. What squares against that is Saturn presenting fear, limitations, and threats of matters that are unresolved at Pisces that poses threat to this expansive picture that your heart is projecting, that the conviction in your body is optimizing. Sagittarius is what you wish to embody of experience and status of the self and the being in alignment with what is true of you, of your life, and especially of your beliefs and philosophies. And finally, reclaiming your identity. This expansiveness that we are working through with the stellium and Sagittarius of our inner planets, it's very personal. Okay, the personal aspects of ourself has to be expanded because the new self is both resurrected through Scorpio and rebirth through Virgo. The new self, that is spirit and mind. Spirit and mind. Spirit and mind does not yet have a form. It doesn't have a vessel yet. The form, the vessel, is not yet characterized. But the essence of what truth it is to embody, what meaning and expression that it is to embody, it is there. It is rebirthed. It is reclaimed. And this expansion of that expression, of that claim of yourself, it has to be consistent with the consciousness of optimism, creativity, faith and conviction, zeal, truth, what else might I be forgetting? And also willingness to take chances and be vulnerable along the pathway of the fool's journey. We can't realize this culmination of impulses through Sagittarius without its opposites manifesting along with it. How do we realize our creativity except that it is against or in contrast to conformity? How do we realize our optimism unless it is in contrast to negative self-talk and doubt? How do we realize love expressed and internalized without fear threatening us? How do we realize expansiveness without limitations being suggested to us? So Saturn is doing the favor of clarifying that these forces are active in the soul. It's for our own awareness. In doing so, it also grounds us to remember that expansiveness and imagination, seeing the bigger picture, it has to remain grounded if it is to manifest, if it is to be. So it's important for us to remember our mortality, our limitations, our capacity. We have to remember that. We also have to remember what it means to remain accountable with our resources, our status, our strategy. And spiritually, to remember our moral commitment so that we do not initiate karmic retribution on ourselves, karmic consequences to ourselves. We're off to a new start, and although the threat is there with this square at Pisces, it's just a means of grounding. Understand? So, the spreading out of the blanket, when you have to transfer your impulses or planets from Sagittarius into Capricorn, the expansiveness of Sagittarius now has to submit to a long-term goal, plan, protocol, process, procedure, within framework and limitations of infrastructure that considers time, resources, energy, consistency, discipline, order, structure, execution. So what this square does is it's the folding up of the blanket. Okay? You're folding the blanket up so that you can store it into the algorithm of compartmentalization, so that you could subject the expansiveness of Sagittarius vision, picture, into a process that manifests it or materializes it, that which gives it form, and that is Capricorn. It is the infrastructure and process by which you will make it happen. So you're going from fire to earth. You're containing the fire. Not putting the fire out, you're containing the fire. Understand? So through Sagittarius and Pisces, it has similarities in that these are forces of imagination, of vision, of seeing a picture of some sort. Pisces includes seeing a vision that concerns the spirit. Sagittarius is seeing a vision that concerns the physical reality, that agrees with the spirit. That's in unison with the spirit. Understand? So this checkpoint, this square, it's to offer medicinal sobriety, maturity, groundedness, realism, an awareness of the value of strategy and strategic thought, a realization of the value of long-term planning, seeing and realizing that it's a marathon, not a race. It's putting it in proper perspective if we are to be realistic with the big picture that we see. So every energy has to be christened by Saturn into Capricorn. Things will be very different with the stellium through Capricorn. In Sagittarius, it's fiery, it's creative, it's optimistic. And the square is a Debbie Downer. That reminds you that, yes, I know you feel that way. I know you see this big picture. That's good. I want you to dream. You got to see it if you're going to be it. If you can see it, yes, you can be it. Anything that you can see in your imagination, it is real, it is true, it is a prophecy if you follow through. But Saturn wants us to remember what we suffered to learn. Learn His obedience through the things that He suffered. So this is to make sure that we walk with obedience in the spirit concerning that which we suffered to learn. To also be sure that we remain realistic in our approach and to set long-term goals. So let's appreciate this square of disillusionment. But don't fall into fear. Don't fall into guilt. Don't fall into doubt. Let it ground you, but don't go too far. Understand? This expansiveness and seeing the bigger picture for every impulse is going to take a little time. With the sun, it's considering the expression and whether or not we have a realistic outlook and what it's going to mean to align ourselves with what we must express in our being. Juno coming into that square, seeing the bigger picture on what our commitments should consist of. And in hindsight, Pisces, Saturn direct, in hindsight of the things that we suffered to learn karmically, we stand to be a little more realistic about what we really do need in our commitments and relationships. And it could be less about entertainment, silly things, and more about what transfers meaningful connection, substantial interactions and trades, creative and productive terms and mutual agreements, connections that expand the possibilities and nurture the creative intent. These are things that we could review, allowing what we learn to inform how we are to show up with this each impulse of this stellium. Venus coming into conjunction with Juno, it also takes into consideration what we desire of relationships and what we desire of financial outcomes as a bigger picture. We have to see the picture before that we can make the strategy or plan. The picture is expansive with Sagittarius. What's the big picture of relationships in the future? What's the big picture of our financial status in the future? What's the big picture? And the only one that can execute the big picture is Capricorn algorithm of consciousness. That is the only one that can execute that. Capricorn. Father Time energy. So these things are being clarified in consideration to Saturn, the father of, well, the lord of Capricorn. This square is important because Saturn requires focus. It requires a sober mind, a sober heart to connect properly with himself. So this is a sobering square. And that sober state of being with each of these impulses entering into Capricorn is now an appropriate architect of the big picture. Each planet plays a role in this constructive approach. Capricorn stellium is where form, shape, order, timeline, predictability, measures, mathematics, the numbers, a gauge of what the process is going to take, and rolling your sleeves up to actually get it done, to start doing it, to get involved, to start working it. That's Capricorn. And Mars goes first. With Mars going first into Capricorn, the infrastructure of your life has a very strong and productive support that's going to allow you to put and channel a lot of sexual energy behind your commitments. And what I mean by sexual energy, the vitality in your being can very well be channeled and focused into a slow, consistent, and disciplined process and commitment toward a long-term strategy that lays the infrastructure for what this bigger picture will rest upon. Mars does very well in Capricorn. It's where he gets to be a workaholic. By the time he leaves Capricorn, you are going to see that you have created infrastructure for what used to be a big picture that you were looking at in your imagination, in your conviction. You're going to create the tangible substance that sets the precedence for this new reality as the stellium goes through Capricorn. This is good news. And what happens as you do this, everything that you were worried about, concerned about, fearful about, with the square to Saturn, with all of these planets, you will find that you are resolving and solving your own problems. You will find that you are healing that anxiety because you're working, you're being productive to quiet that threat. You're putting your best foot forward. You're burning the midnight oil to take care of all threats. You're putting accountability into full demonstration and practice. Staying down until you come up. The maturity comes. The groundedness comes. The focus comes. To take your life into your own hands and form it into the status and image that you see is most appropriate for you. What this does, essentially, the stellium is now shifting from 9th house to 10th house. So right now, it's still a philosophy that's getting checked and examined by a square to Saturn at the 12th house, which is your beliefs through imagination, not beliefs through experience. Sagittarius is belief through experience. Pisces is belief through imagination. Belief through imagination can fall into perversions. And guilt and fear are the main ones that can rob you of your optimism, rob you of your creativity. And so can shame. And Black Moon Lilith has been dealing with that in the water trine. Philosophy and imagination has a square. What do you believe? 9th house. What have you concluded from your experiences? What do you understand to be the case for your reality, for your life, for yourself, your identity, for your destiny? What do you believe? What is your conviction? What does the truthful life look like? What does a purposeful and meaningful life look like? What clarifies meaning and purpose in your life? What should your life be about every waking day? And at Pisces, we're learning to overcome the infiltration to our heaven, our imagination. Where others are inserting doubt, fear, shame, guilt constantly. And we're learning to hold, maintain, preserve, guard our optimism, our creativity, and our conviction of ourself. To hold and maintain the vision and picture, the big picture that we form for ourselves, while silencing the noise and infiltration to tell us that we can't do it, we're not worthy, you're not ready, it's too dangerous, it doesn't make sense, that's just stupid, you're gonna fail. Remember what happened last time? All this bullshit that you gotta stop fucking listening to. You have to learn to stop listening to it. It's going to be there regardless to tempt you with doubt. The antagonist is going to be there. We can't look at our circumstances, we can't look at what has been to determine where we're going and what we are about to create. What you're going to create is not supposed to look like what is here already. You're innovating your circumstances, your life. You're bringing your destiny in by showing up for it and being present for it. Coming alive to it. Calling the shots in your life. The transfer from the 9th house, a big picture, a big vision, that now becomes an ambition. a goal that now becomes a series of duties and responsibilities that we commit to, that now becomes the character that we manifest of ourselves, which is the only promise for destiny. Character becomes destiny. So it's to embody the characteristics, the mindset, the habits, the daily schedule and routine, the consistent efforts, that makes it all of what we believe to be a reality. The ninth house, it was your philosophy of yourself, of your life, of your own concept, your own ideal of yourself. And at the 10th house, the philosophy becomes the embodiment of that philosophy through character. We are forming a new character as the stellium goes into Capricorn. It is to form a new character. And at the midheaven, it becomes a status, a brand. Understand? A status, a brand. Be aware that it's our character that answers the hard questions. It's our character that determines whether or not the future is promising for us. It is our character that authorizes us to have predictability over the future. It is our character that is the determining factor of failure or success. It is our character. Capricorn, 10th house, stellium. We are transferring from what we believe to what we characterize. Who do you say you are? Okay? Characterize it. Be it. Be who you say you are. Characterize who you say you are. Against the doubt, against the noise, against the threats. Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius is going to help us. Because what Black Moon Lilith is going to do is it's going to address all of the shame and guilt that comes along with that. Because there's going to be resistance. There's going to be humiliation. There's going to be a lot of negative feedback internally and externally. There's going to be times where we tell ourselves we're not worthy of doing what we are pursuing. We're not worthy of the picture that we are pursuing. There's going to be feedback of people that shame you for doing something that makes no sense to them. That could be unorthodox in their opinion, eccentric in how they see it, and even to yourself. Seeing what it takes. Shame coming into Sagittarius. You have to remove the shame and claiming it. Because now it becomes an outward expression. Your philosophies. Now it becomes something that you demonstrate and exemplify your philosophies. And because of that, it becomes visible. It becomes audible. And when it becomes visible and audible, there are going to be naysayers. There are going to be people who disagree with you. There's going to be people who have strong opinions about it. Even in yourself, there's going to be cognitive dissonance that visits you. Am I doing the right thing? This looks stupid. This doesn't make sense. I'm wasting my time. Why did I even bother? I'm going to get rejected. I'm going to get laughed at. This makes no sense. Maybe I'm doing too much. It's going to visit you. Whatever you have going on at your Sagittarius placement and also your ninth house, you're not going to feel comfortable about it. And that's good, because the discomfort is what makes you perform. It's what makes you get off of your fucking ass and do something about the situation. Dissatisfaction comes with Black Moon Lilith. And that dissatisfaction is what makes you work to bring it to satisfaction. You're giving life improvement and refinement to the Sagittarius placement in the ninth house, while simultaneously incorporating every aspect of your bodies through the impulses of the inner planets into Capricorn in order to transfer all of these convictions and to transfer this big picture vision into disciplined processes of effort, work, and procedures that honors your confidence as a promising mission, a project that you can put your faith in. Understand that. This is you initiating a project that manifests the big picture. You see the big picture, and now you have to create the contracts through relationships and the projects through infrastructure and strategy to make it a real thing. The fact that this is a new moon phase, we can expect that during Gemini season is where we could see this in a good standing, a good outcome. So expect this, May, June. Okay, May, June, you should be able to see your picture, your big picture, as something that now is ready for the details to be filled in on. Okay, and who does the details? Gemini. Okay, Sagittarius is the big picture. Gemini is the details in the big picture. Sagittarius is to splash the coats of paint over the canvas. All right? But Gemini is to come and do all the details on that painting. Understand? And that will be through the new moon Gemini phase. That's when you start filling in the details that must go on this. But right now it's about expansion and establishment of the big picture that you see. What is your big picture? Make sure you see a fucking picture. I don't care if you got to get a coloring book and start scribbling in that shit. See a fucking picture for yourself. Understand that. You got to see it. What do you see? Understand? Will I allow fear to suppress my creativity? Will I allow doubt to restrict my access to expansion, to positivity? The future is unpredictable. Who would I be to authorize fear to cast predictions? I am as I think I am. Conviction. My Sagittarius fire spreads, and I don't give a fuck if it's dark. I'm drawing back, letting off, shooting darts. I am my ideal. And what I conceptualize is indeed real. My rich childlike imagination is a heavenly presentation of every reality that's authorized to be through me. Can't nobody tell me shit. I create at will. If I say it will be, then it will be. Hey yo, who do you cry for? Who do you get angry for? If you're not set on fire for others, then you are spiritually poor. Nigga. Love can accomplish all things. Yeah, that's a fact. But not if you're trying to make it to serve yourself. That's a fact. What do you feel when you witness others being done wrong? Just another sad song? Right? May you suffer their plight until compassion awakens in you. Hey yo, lurkers. Lurkers hide in the shadows of jealousy, envy, and theft of expression. Clutching the pearls as the infamous provokes confession. These miserable parasites can't turn away. They are cowards that consume with nothing to say. Am I who they wanna be? Why they hate, that is me, and not them, that is being me. Why subscribe? Why follow me? You've been here all this time hiding in that corner. Roaches, rats, monitoring spirits and bats. Lurkers, you all the same.